In this video tutorial, I will help you to present better the session number 5 of the set of Gita Program PowerPoint presentations. In this session, I will give you some tips how to manage this sensitive topic, the Word of God. How can you interest your audience? We will use the words absolute or the source. So in this way, people won't feel threatened. People won't feel that you're imposing your ideas or your philosophy or your religion. It's basically a philosophical exercise, something that interests them. You want to show that you know what you're talking about. You know what the Vedas say about where do we come from. So what you're going to see next, it's a preview of the tutorial.
We won't go so much into the details or the depth of describing who is God, how He looks, and all these sort of things, but rather just try to emphasize the fact that there is a source and we have to accept that there is something or someone where we all come from. Srila Prabhupada often makes this point, and he takes different analogies to support his argument. He sometimes describes that we all come from someone, that we all have a father, that our father has also a father, and in that way we can track our coming from someone. So in the same way, this presentation aims at emphasizing that point, that there is a source. That our purpose is to try to encourage people to read Srila Prabhupada's books. This is one, we may say, hidden goal or objective that we have in this set of presentations. At the end of the day, we are not expecting that people are convinced or entirely convinced of Krishna consciousness after a few hours of presentations, but rather we just want to encourage them to further their inquiry into this Vedic perspective. We want to encourage people to think, where do we come from? And in this slide, we will do quite specifically try to answer that query. We have to develop a spiritual consciousness. So this is a question that we have. The next slide, several people talking, asking, communicating, but this question is almost impossible to answer unless we take an authoritative approach from the Vedas. Put in contrast what materialistic people does and what the Vedic spiritualist or scientists of the soul, as one sage said, are trying to explain to us through the Vedas. So we make sure that this set of slides allows the participants to express what they think, but to the point that they understand that in order for them to have a clear understanding of where do we come from, we need to understand where is our source. In the next slide, we have the difference between spirit and matter. A spirit or soul, as we referred in the second session, has the following characteristics. The first one is that never changes. It's eternal. It's conscious and aware. Has the capacity to acquire knowledge. And has the capacity to feel and to experience. So matter cannot do that without the presence of the soul. So this is what we're trying to bring the audience to the point to understand that there's a difference between spirit and matter. You may think something, somebody else may think something else, but we want to hear here what is the Vedas, what's the Vedas opinion, what's the Vedas Vedic point of view. Here we have it straight on, what's the Vedic paradigm? What's the premise of this presentation? And this is, of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Right? So this is the Bhagavad-gita, the essence of the Vedas. So this is the Vedic paradigm, because this is if you notice, this is the first time where you are bringing the concept of someone, a person, being the source of everything. Although we are indirectly, or we have indirectly mentioned the teachings of Lord Krishna, and we have also referred to the supreme or the absolute truth. Here we are directly quoting Bhagavad-gita and quoting Krishna's statement that he is both the origin and the dissolution. Majority of time we don't find that this becomes controversial, because by now, this is the fifth presentation. By now people knows the style or the approach of your presentation. You are not trying to proselytize per se, or not directly convince them about what you're presenting. You're just showing what the Vedas say. You're just sharing your understanding and all the information that you have brought for them. So it shouldn't be a major problem. But people also have developed some respect for what you are presenting. So we try to make this definition quite clearly. You know, there is energy. That's an aspect of the absolute truth. Number two, the localized aspect, Paramatma. You can explain also what Brahman means or what Paramatma means, Atma. It's also quite a common word nowadays. So you can explain a little Sanskrit there. People will respect these things. Also Prabhupada often will say that it's good that devotees know some Sanskrit, because it gives you more authority. You know, your credentials, your credibility increases when they know, oh, this person has been studying these books and they're originally given in this Sanskrit language. So you have a bit of a grasp of what do these words mean. So Paramatma, the supreme soul. So what is the second aspect of the absolute source, the absolute truth? Is Paramatma, which means the localized, conscious presence, or supreme presence in every living entity, in the molecules and atoms. Right? So that's number two. Number three, it's the Godhead, the personality of Godhead. So Bhagavan refers to the personality of Godhead. Right? There is a person, and he is the Godhead. He is the topmost of the different levels of understanding of the absolute truth, or the absolute source, as we have titled this slide. Many people have a lot of problem accepting this. Many of the Judeo-Christian religion understand the concept of personality, but that it's not clearly defined. So we're just going to take a definition here from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which says a definition of Bhagavan: the supreme or ultimate reality, which is the being perfect in power, wisdom and goodness, who is worshipped as creator and ruler of the universe. This is a common dictionary definition. Now the Vedic definition of Bhagavan, it's clearly more complete. And we give the 6 elements that define who is Bhagavan. Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead, is defined as one who is full in 6 opulences: full strength, fame, wisdom, wealth, beauty, and renunciation. This is from the Vishnu Purana, another essential Vedic text. Although we said that the Bhagavad-gita is the essence of the Vedas, and that we will base our presentation on the teachings of the Bhagavad-gita, we haven't really emphasized that much. We haven't presented the structure of the Bhagavad-gita, or the story of the Bhagavad-gita, or the sequence of the Bhagavad-gita. We are just referring to the Bhagavad-gita as one of the central texts of the Vedas, and we are quoting some things from the Bhagavad-gita. So at this point, people should be very interested, just like when you go to the supermarket and they give you this sample juice or sample cheese or something, and they want you to buy the gallon, they want you to buy the big chunk of, whatever, ice cream or yogurt or whatever. They want you to buy the big thing. But we are giving people these token samples of what the Vedic knowledge has to offer, and as the central text, the central Vedic book, we present the Bhagavad-gita.
So, what do you think? Did you like it? If you're interested in purchasing the set of Gita tutorials, please click on the link below. Thank you. Hare Krishna.